How's it going, YouTube? Cartos123 here. As you can tell, no hands, which means I'm not holding onto my camera. I got myself a stand for my camera, a tripod. It cost me about 11 bucks, so I mean it's a pretty nice tripod for 11 bucks. Today, as you can tell from the title below, now it's below, which is kind of weird. That I am going to be doing the third installment for the wind-up deck profile. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, I looked at my later video, or my earlier videos, and I noticed that the first one, it wasn't competitive, which was okay. The second one was a little more competitive, but the video was, it was this little tiny screen with these two black bars beside it. It's because I ended up recording it with my cell phone, and if I recorded it on the side, the video was going to be sideways. So now I won't have that problem, but the deck did change for the format, and I decided let's do another deck profile, the third installment for that deck profile. And it should be a lot better this time. I won't be having to hold the camera. I will be able to do, use both my hands to be focusing on putting the cards down and everything. So, another reason why I wanted to do another deck profile is that I sounded so monotone during that deck profile. So blech. So we're going to be doing a better deck profile for you guys today. So let's get on with that wind-up deck profile. Alright guys, so we're going to be doing our deck profile for the wind-ups. So first off, we're going to start with our two wind-up soldiers. Now the reason why we're still running our two wind-up soldiers is that it does get over things like Thunder King Rao, as said before, but as well because it goes to 2100 attack points, it gets over things like Snowman Eater. And of course, this thing, the wind-up soldier will still die from the Snowman Eater, but it will get, it'll still get rid of it by battle, thus your opponent can't get into a rank 3 next turn. I dropped it down to 2, mainly because we don't use rank 5s as much in this deck, so why else, why not put it at 2? For our next card, we are running 3 wind-up sharks. Now our wind-up sharks are level 4, that when a wind-up monster is special summoned, you get to special summon this guy. He can be level 4, he can be level 3, or level 5. So you can go for a bunch of ranks, and if you're playing tuners in this deck and synchros, it can go for a good amount of synchros. Now this really is pretty much the heart of the deck. He is the big player in this deck, with Magician being able to really start your plays. So you want to definitely run 3 of the sharks. Next, we're using 3 wind-up rats. They are pretty much your monster reborn of the deck that will allow you to exceed very easily, switching it to defense mode, getting your monster back. If it's just like a magician you get back, you can start your plays. But other than that, he really is used for bringing back a level 3 and exceeding into a rank 3. 3 wind-up rabbits. Now our wind-up rabbits, I used to run 2, but now that thankfully one came out in the tin, I was able to get my third one for that. This card is absolutely fantastic. It allows you to always have a monster on the field. It gets over things like Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute. You could summon your wind-up rabbit, set your Torrential Tribute, and end your opponent's summons like a Thunder King Ryo. You then activate your Torrential Tribute, chaining rabbit effect and removing it from the game, and then next turn you will have your rabbit again and you can go in starting your combos. The nice thing is that it is a level 3 monster, and that is really what this deck is really based on now, is level 3s with some level 4s. Next we are running 2 wind-up magician. Now the wind-up magician, I sadly only have 2. I'm waiting on my third in the mail. This, Shark is the heart of the deck, this is the soul of the deck. They are your main combo pieces in the deck now, as, you summon Magician, you special summon Shark, that activates Magician's effect, gets another Magician, activates Shark's effect, you get Rat, you get so many plays with this deck. I don't really need to go on with how many combos you can pull off with this. But you could be comboing all day 2 for now, 3 when I get the third one. For our non-one-ups halves, we have Tour Guide from the Underworld. Now, this is a card I do not need to explain whatsoever. We all know what Tour Guide does. We all know how good Tour Guide is. 2 Snowman Eater. Snowman Eater, kind of like the Tour Guides, you don't really need to explain them. You set them, they get attacked, they destroy monsters. If they survive, you can go for your rank 3s as they are level 3. And the final monster in this deck is 1 Genex Ally Birdman. The Birdman is in there not as a tuner, but as for the ability that you can return 1 monster on your side of the field to special summon this guy from your hand. I do not run synchros in this deck, so his ability to get removed from play really isn't a problem. But if I were to need him later on in the game, if I were to use synchros in this deck, I really could. It doesn't really matter because when you exceed with this guy, you don't have to worry about him getting removed from the game because he's technically not going from the field to the graveyard. But he's mainly in there. You have your Zinmate on field. With, say, you've used his ability, he has no more, nothing to detach anymore. You can return it back to your extra deck, special summon this guy, and go and exceed. Very good plays with Genex Ally Birdman. So that is our monster portion of the deck. We now have our spells. Starting off with our 3 Wind-Up Factories. The Wind-Up Factory is your search card of the deck. Some people will run 2, but I see more often than not now, people are running 3 Wind-Up Factories. I believe you need the 3 because you need to get your Shark and Magician as soon as possible to start your combos. This will help you get those. So we're of course using the 3 Wind-Up Factory. 2 Pot of Avarice, just like the Wind-Up Factory, it will search. It helps you get your cards to your hand. But it's not just monsters, it gets you spells and trap cards to set up for your plays. So part of Duality, 2 of them stay in there. 2, Instant Fusion. I've been saved by this card a good fair number of times. With this card, if you draw like a hand, your beginning hand, and you get a rat in hand and this, you're still able to play because that rat can be a dead draw. This card will give you that out to getting out a monster. It can help you with your extra little bit of combo in the end, bringing out your field if you want to OTK. So 2 of the instant fusions. 2 Mystical Space Typhoons for back row hate, as this is, it's not exactly OTK anymore, but it can OTK. You do want to get that back row hate. You do not want to slam into a Mirror Force or a Torrential Tribute or anything like that. So MST is definitely a good way to go. For our one-ups, we have 1 Dark Hole, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Heavy Storm, and 1 Pot of Avarice. All basic staples. Pot of Avarice in this deck I find is a staple. Really nothing to say about these cards. We all know what they do and why they're all good. So that is the spell lineup for the deck. And finally, the traps, we are using the Solemn Brigade. The Solemn Brigade, I'm not really going to be talking about this much. You run it, it's a very, very good set of cards. The Compulsory Evacuation Device, I run 2 of these. I've been running 2 before Priority was taken away. I was running it before it was cool, and it was a good card back then, and it is a good card now. It works both ways, as it helps you, like it can help your creatures go back to your hand, it can save your creatures, or it can save you getting rid of your opponent's creatures. So it does work both ways. 2 Mirror Force, because we can now run 2 Mirror Force. It is because your monsters tend to be really small if you don't exceed, which most of the time, of course, you should be exceeding. But either way, some of your monsters are small in this deck. You want that back row to be able to save your creatures. So 2 Mirror Force and 1 Torrential Tribute. The reason why I'm running 1 Torrential Tribute and 2 Mirror Force and 2 of the compulsories is if you want to use the
the Shockmaster. If you want to use the Shockmaster combo, which it locks your opponent, you need to have a back row that will support you, not threaten your own monsters as well. So I mean, that's why I'm using, you know, more Solemns, the, you know, Mirror Forces, the Compulsories, but just one of these. I found, like, I was running two before, but I found that I kept on drawing into Torrential Tribute when going into that play, and that's something you just really do not want to draw into. And finally, one Overwind, because it is for me what really makes this deck. I absolutely love Overwind. Now, the OTK may not be used as much anymore, but this is still a good card if you want to defend or go in for the, you know, the offensive. You attack with your carrier, turns into a 3,000 attacker. That's going to get over most things, and it'll bring your carrier back to your deck for later use. And this goes for pretty much any other wind-up to go back to your hand for later use to use their effects once more. So Overwind, I believe, just an overall fun card. I love the picture. The picture is what got me into wind-ups in the first place. So now we have our extra deck. I will skim through this extra deck pretty quickly, as most of the cards is pretty self-explanatory, and wind-ups. We have our wind-up carrier Zen Métis, helps you pull off your OTKs. Two Zen Mains, you know, for defensive and destruction. One Livier the Sea Dragon. This card allows you to go ahead and play more combos with Rabbit, as well as it is really nice for when your opponent uses things like Rescue Rabbit. You play this because I do believe you can play it from either player's graveyard. Yeah, so it's 1 level 4 lower monster. So one nice thing that I really like to do is play Livier the Sea Dragon when I'm playing against Dino Rabbits. Take that remove from play, Rescue Rabbit, bring it to my side of the field, and then Xyz with it, and so they can't get into that Rabbit play. So that is one thing I really like to do with that card, as well as, you know, if your opponent deprisons one of your bigger creatures, you can go ahead, or not your bigger creatures, but, you know, some of your guys that you have, you know, maybe if they bottomless trap hole your shark, you can bring it back with your Livier the Sea Dragon. We have one number 17 Leviathan Dragon for power. I don't use Acid Golem. I could use it, but I find more games than not I will lose because of Acid Golem, because I will admit I don't really know how to play Acid Golem the right way, and I would rather not play a card that I think will make me lose the game, so I will play, you know, Leviathan Dragon instead. One Giga Brilliant. This helps your OTKs. It makes your guys a lot bigger. Makes him a 2100 attack the first time you do it, so he can stay on the field to do it a second time. And lastly, one number 34 Terabyte. I find with my deck, I will have at times where I will have 3 level 3 monsters that I can't really do anything with. Like I could go with 2 level 3 monsters and make something, but sometimes I could use 3. And this guy is a mind control, not a fully mind control, but, you know, it does allow you to mind control things your opponent controls, bring them to your side of the field, and Xyz with them. It also has a 2900 defender body, so it's hard to get over. So I find one of the, like, I use this every so often, not something I use all the time. For our level or rank 4s, we have 116 Shockmaster. Very good in wind-ups, allows you to do your Shockmaster combo, and a lot of the times you're going to win if you play that combo. One wind-up Zen-Meister, I do like it with the Overwind. It is another card for that. He can get pretty big with the Overwind. For, like, say, the OTK, you can OTK with him. And I just feel a lot safer having at least one wind-up Zen-Meister in the deck. One Photon Papillon Operative for your OTK plays. She puts a lot of plays onto your field, so it's something you really want to play. One number 39 Utopia. He stops attacks. He's a big attacker. Very good card. Gotta run him. 1, Wind Up Arsenal Zenmayo. I'm still running one of these guys. I used to run 2. Put it down to 1 because rank 5s, again, as I said, are not really heavily used in this deck anymore. But he still has the ability to pop. So I thought, you know, still keep him in there. And 1, Arduous Keeper of Armageddon, again, for that pop, but I won't use them all too much. For our fusions, we have 1 Fusionist and 1 Alligator Sword Dragon, 1 for level 5, 1 for level 3, so you can go into your rank 5s and rank 3s. So that is the deck profile number 3 for the wind-ups. Comment, rate, subscribe if you think you can do something to make this deck work a little bit better. You know, comment in the comment section below, let me know. I will be doing a trade binder pretty soon here, where I'm just going to be taking most of my decks and putting them into the trade binder, and hopefully we can make some trades. What might be for trade is this Yu-Gi-Oh! Mat with Tour Guide and Sangan. The Sangan is a very crisp picture, which is really nice. The Tour Guide sadly is not so crisp. For now I might keep it, but I am getting a Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS 100 Tour Bus mat. So once I get that, I won't really need this Yu-Gi-Oh! Mat anymore. So if anybody is interested, later on when I post the binder video, which this will be part of, let me know, and we'll see if we can do a trade for this or some cards in a trade binder. But until then, this is Kratos123 signing out.